doing it. Let's go by. Let's go by my backyard today. I noticed my new glasses. What do you think? However that works here. I set this up in advance for you guys, so if you got a little confused with the Facebook link coming in, that's my fault because I don't know how to actually start a pre-scheduled live in YouTube yet. So we'll get there. Bear with me, guys. I love you guys for hanging out with me, for coming and fumbling with me through my trials and the things I'm trying to do. So it goes right along with the latest product that we've launched, which is the Big Decision Blueprint. And it's all about trying new things, right? So last week, I messed up and did the whole thing on Facebook Live. This week, we're back to YouTube Live. That's what it's about. That's the fun. That's the flavor. That's what makes me Professor G. Is we're going to try things. We're going to mess things up a lot. And we're going to learn from that and get better and better as we go. So either I will need to learn how to schedule and come back to them without announcing it for you, or I can just always do it live and keep it real. So we're going to figure those things out. So today I'm coming to you with a very special question that I get this actually a lot, but it was actually submitted by someone who called himself what is it? Gen Z, something about Gen Z. Sorry, I've forgotten your name. It was Gen Z Adventure Seeker or something along those lines. It reminded me of that anyway. So thank you, Gen Z, for this question. And of course, to protect your anonymity, we're just going to call you Gen Z. The question for today, the biggest question, and I have another one if we have time for it, is the first one is, how do I make new friends? And it's simple, right? The question came in a longer form, more like I'm moving to a new town. I have, or taking a gap year. So these questions come in different ways. In this particular case, Gen Z is moving to a new space, like taking an adventure, going into a new community for, I believe it was 4 months. And how do I jump in? How do I learn? How do I connect and make new friends as I dive into life, right? So I just want to generalize this because I know a lot of you have the same question and I get the same thing all the time, especially, introvert Gen Z, that's what they called themselves. So it was, so thank you, introvert Gen Z. A lot of times we feel that way, right? And I will tell you that I've experienced different seasons of my life. I tend to have an outgoing personality and I am, in fact, energized by other people, but I'm equally energized by and need my alone time. So they call, I guess, people like me ambiverts. But anyway, so if you feel a little bit introverted, you're going to a new town. And hey, in the world that we're living in now, you might be completely extroverted and still struggle with it. Guys, I struggle with this. This is not just you. It's not just because you're 20. This is something that I find many adults my age also struggle with. I just have ways that I approach this so that it helps. So I'm going to share with you some of the ways that I recognize the feeling you feel when it's difficult to go out there or to do it by yourself, right? Part of that question was prefaced with, I don't really want to go out and do things by myself, but I want to make new friends and find people to do with and kind of create my own crew. So that's the background behind the question here is, well, I'm going to a new situation. Now, this can be a new home, it can be a new school, it can, especially a lot of you are going off to campuses, or specifically, what if I'm doing all my classes online? Like, how do I just get out there and make new friends if I'm, especially with my university perhaps, or the community I live in, if I'm not really an outgoing person? And so what I have learned, first of all, is to acknowledge yourself and be honest and loving with yourself that you're not an outgoing person. Not everybody is. And even the most outgoing of us, we have our moments, right? Where we just can't push past that to go into the crowd, to meet a bunch of random new people. So one of the first and easy ways that I'll say is to find just someone who also has that desire. Sometimes it's helpful. I'm going to give you the easy one and then the one that is more about growing you. So first, you can just find someone. You can go in your local Facebook. I'm in a gap year group that I contribute content and just help and look to guide the students who are in there. Uh, and a lot of times they find each other by saying, hey, I'm in this region, I'm in this area, or I'm doing this thing. In today's world, maybe a digital, your FaceTime, maybe that kind of relationship can build to where the friendship can build before you even get to a location. That's an awesome way. But really tapping into the resources that you have online. There's Snapchat groups. Of course, you can use the map and go to a location where you want to maybe meet some friends and see who's there. Start interacting, just start connecting, interacting, showing up in a group where those people are who seem like the kind of people you want to hang out with. I'm recently getting some connections and new friends. As you probably remember from if you've been following me, I'm kind of new in California. I came from Florida. After 7 years in Florida, I'm now in California, and it's like, okay, got to start this process over again. So one of the easiest ways that I'm finding to make new friends has been to just a friend of mine locally and I built a drum circle. So we started a drum circle just to start getting a place with a specific activity where people can connect. Now, I happen to like people who, I enjoy the company of people who, like pretty much everyone, but I enjoy the company of people who like music or who practice spiritual belief practices or just kind of get out there. And the drum circle tends to draw people with that out of the box thinking. A lot of times you don't necessarily get closed-minded people showing up at a drum circle. It's a very open energy kind of space. So with that understanding, that drum circle is a perfect way for us to begin to attract an eclectic group, but without being so specific, right? Maybe I don't know if I want to hang out with spiritual basket weavers or something yet. So if you're looking for a way to keep it kind of general, pick something that's kind of general in the area that's of something you like. And you can find groups online and connect with someone there if you just won't go out on your own. Myself, I need that crutch of someone else. Tap into the communities online and find someone and get to know them. Create a FaceTime. Make sure that you kind of vibe with the person. Just literally, it sounds so strange, but literally reach out and say, I'm looking for new friends. You will be surprised how many other people are also looking for new friends. So just go into the groups, connect, let them know what you're looking for, kind of who you are. Don't be afraid to toot your horn, as they say a little bit. Say who you are, express that, and see what you can find in those groups for someone to go with you, right? So you can start something local and find someone who is willing to connect and go with you. Now, let's talk about that next phase. So I know I've got some advanced seekers out there, right? So who are my adventure seekers? You're looking for something, but maybe you have these blocks or these limitations so far that you haven't gotten exactly what you want from life, and you're still figuring all that out. So step one, go online, find someone, and actually use each other as crutches, right? Because that's kind of what it is. Okay, I can't go by myself, but I can go with you. So step one would be that. Now, that's enough. If you are sitting at home by yourself and you are only connecting online, or you're not going out and doing anything, and you move into a space where you get out there, even if you use someone, a cousin, a sibling, use your parents to get out into a public situation. I know it seems odd, but sometimes parents would be thrilled to go into your world and just kind of be your crush. But then we're totally cool hanging by ourselves and getting to know other people while you go out and explore most of the time. So because, well, with age and with time and wisdom comes the ability to just kind of enjoy your own company, right? So for lots of reasons, we're good resources as parents to you to get out there as well. So use that if you want. And if that's all you get from this is you take that little leap to get out into the world, even by accessing someone else who can go with you, awesome. Great job. You're winning. Now, for some of you, you don't want to look at someone else to carry you through. Maybe if you're independent like me, People don't really respond as rapidly and as enthusiastically as I like sometimes. So I've learned in a large way to just be okay going into a situation by myself. What can I explore by myself? Now, it doesn't always work. So I want to precursor this to say, don't expect that you're going to go in and it's just going to be easy and comfortable the first time. Sometimes you go to several events and it's like, probably not for me. And that's okay. But when you're exploring, when you're going out, you're trying new things. That's the module 3 of the Big Decision Blueprint. When you're trying new things, you're going to expose yourself to things, and sometimes they're not going to be things you love, and that's okay. Now you know, right? And how interesting are you as a person if you've tried even one time multiple things, and so any conversation that you get into, you have a little bit of an experience, right? You don't have to be an expert at the thing. You can add your experience and what you experienced, you had, like what you went through at trying that experience, trying out. I've been axe throwing now, and only one time. It was fun and amazing. And so I now have that axe throwing experience to refer back to, and it opens up another avenue of conversation. I also scuba dive. I also love hiking, right? So all the different interests that you have, those are the places where you're going to go out and meet people, and that's enough. Now, if you want to up level it, those adventure seekers who are saying, you know what, I want to go the advanced move. You know, in yoga, they talk about the leg up, right? So you first do down dog and then you lift your leg up. And if you want, you can stay right in down. So the same thing for you with if you're an adventure seeker looking for that leg up move, looking for that advanced feature, then pick those activities that you like and go by yourself. Yes, I said it. Go by yourself. Actually, sit with yourself and learn to enjoy your own company and be present with who you are and what you bring to a situation and how much you have to give when you go to these new places. And maybe it's not a lot. Maybe you go to a paddleboarding group and you've never paddleboarded. So you don't have to come and bring your paddleboarding skills. Maybe you're not quite, what I bring bubbles and lightness and fun and silliness and permission to make mistakes, because I'm going to stumble and fall all over the place. Part of that is I recognize that the goofier and sillier I am, the more other people feel at ease being themselves. And I've learned that through time. And I also have a strong connection to my own intelligence. So I go into crowds and often I'm seen as kind of the ditzy, like, you know, people say, should you be blonde? Which is a total stereotype. But I get that a lot. And it's like, oh, you're actually really smart. They're surprised by that because I come across so silly and so fun and so goofy all the time when I'm in a fun situation, probably in most situations. And that is what I bring, right? I know that I bring those elements to the table when I come to a crowd. So get clear with that. What is it that I bring? Maybe you bring a vast knowledge of, I don't know, glass, right? I'm sitting here with a coffee cup. And maybe you bring a vast knowledge of glass. It seems like nothing, but then when you get out on the paddle boards and you see the light shining on the water and you can relate that to something in glass that helps other people understand the motion of the water or whatever. So you bring what you have and you just offer it. So the leg up move is to show up by yourself, trusting that you've got something to give and offer in this crowd. And quite frankly, that you deserve to be there, right? Because you do. And you do bring something, some new flavor. Remember, you don't need to look like everyone else. In fact, please don't. Because if we have five broccoli casseroles at the family reunion because everybody's the same, that's no fun. But what makes it fun is when everybody brings their own flavor. And maybe there are even 2 broccoli casseroles, but one's made with crackers and one is made with cheese or something. And now you've got different flavors and different people and not everyone will relate. Some people are lactose intolerant, some are gluten intolerant. So people may take different choices, and not everyone in the crowd is going to say, hey, I want to know you more, but there'll be someone. And when you show up as yourself, not trying to please or be, you'll find that people are attracted to you, and the right exact people for you will be welcomed into your life just by you simply being you. So the best way to make new friends, get out, try new things, do things that interest you, and other people who will match you energetically, who will match you in interests, who will match you in kindness, right? Kindness is a big one for me. If I just can't hang out with mean people, I need kindness. It's a requirement for me. So what are those musts for you? Those people will show up for you too. So just get out there, go try things you like. Use a crutch if you need to. Don't feel ashamed if that's you. A lot of people are introverted and they feel a lot of wiggly energy about going into new crowds, and that's okay. You don't have to love it. You don't have to be outgoing. You don't have to be. A dear friend of mine is so outgoing and bubbly, and everybody loves her, and her daughter is so lovely and wonderful and totally introverted. And she has shared, sometimes it's interesting because people expect me to be outgoing and bubbly and friendly and like my mom, and I'm not. And so she owns that, and it's so beautiful to watch her just own it. That it's funny to see people expect that from me, but that's not me, and I don't need to live up to that. That's not who I am. I'm actually more connected with like my close friends, and I have a few close friends, and I don't really want to necessarily know everyone in the neighborhood. And that's okay. That's perfect. That's you being you. And that's what we're asking of you in this world, is just to come and bring who you are and the best version of you, to allow that to slowly and get gradually shine through. All right, so we have about 10 minutes left, and I'm going to switch gears on you for the second question I had come in for this week. And it is, and I've shortened these into quick phrases, but how do I know if I'm on track for my purpose? All right, so this one I really, really love, because I personally have had a new experience in the last 2 weeks, just specifically going along with expanding and being on purpose and finding that next step. And what I'll say is, when you have the question, is this reflecting my purpose? When that comes up, like, am I really on track? Right? That's the real question you're wanting to know, is, am I going to be successful? Am I on track? Right? Because we don't have the ending. In fact, we often train you. I love you so much. What I ask you to do is focus on not the outcome you want, because we get that vision, yes, and we stay focused with, that's the vision I'm working toward, but to learn to enjoy being the creator. Instead of wanting the house, imagine if you built the house with your own hands, the difference in appreciation of that. It's very similar. Now, you don't have to have the skills to build a house, but it does add a little value when you created it. So if you could, and I have a vase. It's one of the things that I save and protect as I move around multiple times, moving, and deciding, okay, here's where we're going next. There's a vase that I keep with me, and I protect, and I wrap it up, and I carry it with me, and wherever I go, it goes. So it travels with me versus being sent anywhere I move. So for me, the reason it has that special connection is I made it with my own hands. In fact, I made it through a process that was very slow process. I could have made it much more quickly, but this bound it in different ways, and I had a very meditative, prayer-based process as I made it, and it came out just like I imagined. And I was so excited that this vision in my mind actually was able to transform into a vase, because typically up until then I didn't have that creativity, and things didn't always look like what I imagined. So I'm protective of that, because I love the outcome. It feels good to me. I just love the feeling of seeing that and going, oh yes, I am capable of creating with my own hands exactly what I want and envision. So connecting to that vision and knowing the juice of that, get connected to the journey. What is the step by step? There's a process along the way to get you to the outcome you want. So the outcome, think of it as a target. So I'm in Oceanside, California now, and let's say I wanted to go. I just visited Utah, and it was beautiful, so delicious, the landscape, it just lifted my soul, right? So let's say I want to go back. Well, I'm gonna think about, okay, I'm going to Utah. I get a vision in my mind of what I'm gonna see, where I'm gonna be. I know the destination, but along the way, Las Vegas, there's terrain through California. There are I literally drive across different climates, uh, different landscapes, so many things just to get there. And then get to see the biggest. And so, like, there's so much fun in the drive. So I could say, oh, okay, I'm getting to Utah, and I could just get in the car and be, And I used to drive like this really fast, trying to get there, Forget the drive. I just want to be there. And what I found is, it's a large chunk of your time. And okay, so we drive across there, and you feel the connection and the now enjoy it, and now I can get those bliss moments just on the drive across to Utah because of what I get to see and experience along the way. So first of all, how do you know if you're on track for your purpose? Are you enjoying being the creator of that purpose? So if you're not enjoying the creation of it, if you find yourself really hating your daily life or loathing every moment of the work that you have to do for something, probably a good indicator you're not on target. Now, sometimes that not on target doesn't mean that your purpose is wrong. It simply means what you're doing isn't the right way for you specifically to do it. Now, thousands of other people could have done it that way and been successful, and it made sense for them, and it just doesn't work for you. First, we check some limiting beliefs, and there's a whole process for your inner work there. But let's say your inner work is pretty solid and you're feeling like, I really believe I should, but it's not working for me. So maybe it is the method, right? So we can look at, well, what other methods could help you? But how you know if you're on track, with the method you're using, the direction you're going, you can actually focus on those and give yourself a moment and literally ask yourself, is this serving? Like, literally, you could take a breath. You could do some meditation practices. I'm really big on bringing your energy to a centered place. They call it grounding. A lot of people, I like to call it centered. In the Silva method, technique learned an art of bringing yourself into alpha state. That's a brainwave. So it just slows the brainwaves down, gets you in a calm pattern. And while you're in that calm pattern, you're going to ask questions. And so just you've noticed, by just changing my voice a little bit, I've invited your energy to kind of step into that calmness without going full hypnosis, but with allowing of that, right? To allow you to feel the flow and the ebb, and to feel really where it's going. Where are you going? Feeling, thinking about that. Now give the thought to your purpose, the thing you're working toward right now. It doesn't have to be your life purpose. It can be just what you're working toward right now. And how. And if it lights you up, if you feel alive when you think of your purpose, it's right for you. If it makes you feel nervous, afraid, resentful, then it's something to address. Now, often if we feel afraid, it might still be your purpose, because that feeling of fear sometimes is our get there, right? Don't worry about the how right now. We're just connecting to, here's who I am, here's my purpose, here's who I want to show up, and how does that feel? Learn more and more as you get into that meditative practice to pay attention to your own feelings, and you'll begin to learn your own yes or no. For instance, just asking, is this true, right? And then feeling the feelings. I will often even and say, my name is Samantha, and I feel a weird untruth go through my body, right? Or my name is Crystal. Oh, that feels soft and good, right? So pay attention to how you feel. That's your first indicator for if you're on track. And then pay attention to your daily interactions. Sometimes we're going to get ourselves up against a little resistance anyway. We're going to find ourselves not allowing the flow, right? Not allowing that flow to happen so so easily, right? So we're going to pause that. It's not a thing. It's just an opportunity to say, hey, we're going to slow this down a little bit so that you can actually enjoy a bit of the moment. So don't feel like you're failing just because you're not as fast as everyone else, or um, maybe you're not as clear as everyone else. Sometimes we slow down our journey so that we can absorb and enhance every single step of that journey. So imagine what you're doing and just sit with it and how does it feel? And then also think about the purpose you're working toward. Remember, this can be your, but often we don't know that as we're going through the journey. We pick a purpose for now. I often will call it a mission if I'm going to get about something. So rather than saying, oh, it's my purpose on the planet, I now truly that my purpose in being on this planet is to live an extraordinary life and be a model and example to others and share it. Share the love that I have inside of me, share the light I have inside so that others can receive it. Now, the how I do that, that's where the mission stuff comes in. So just as a quick reminder, the difference between purpose and mission. Purpose is the why we're here in general, right? It's the bigger picture. It is the, this is what I'm here to be. It's all very seldom a business or a thing. It's often something much more ethereal, much more broad than that. But it's the missions we choose, which is that this is how I will achieve my purpose, right? So for me, Ask Professor G is one of the ways. It's a service I provide, a mission I have to revolutionize education, to be a critical part of the work and the change and the shift, the paradigm shift in the ways we learn and our connection to learning. And also kind of, it's a new shift and also bringing back some old roots to in that. So I know all of this is part of my mission. And then the how I do that through my Paid to Be Me program. I do that through launching self-study courses like the Big Decision Blueprint. I do it through Ask Professor G Live. And those are just a few of the ways. And we are actually launching our first adventure trip coming up soon. So I'll be also sharing my purpose in the world and working my mission for education through creating adventure learning trips. We're going to have adventures. We're going to go skydiving or hot air balloons and scuba diving, and we're going to have adventures and integrate the learning that helps us be better at life while doing it. So it'll feel like play the whole time. Now, how fun is that? That's my mission. See the difference? Because my purpose isn't to go out and have adventure trips. My mission, my how I achieve that mission of changing education and the ways we learn, I also want it part of that change. I want education. I'm like, learning is fun, guys. Oh my gosh, we've made it this terrible, horrible thing that we have to get through to get to life. No, that's not what learning is. Learning is a fun experience. It's the ways we grow. It's how we bring new opportunities and ideas into our lives. So why not make it fun? Now that's how I do it, right? So when you're looking for your purpose, you might not know exactly what that is yet, but just you have hints of it. It's the stuff that you are and you be no matter what, right? Look at how you are with your family. A lot of times we can see when we're fully relaxed and in good rapport with our family, we can see a lot of that, who we are, shine through. But we don't have to get attached to that. And that's the main thing I'll leave you with for today as we wrap up. If you are looking for, how do I know if I'm on track with my purpose? The first thing is give yourself a break. You may not be, and that's okay, but everything you do contributes to it. Follow your heart, right? Feel into it, know your truth, and allow the way you feel to be your indicator of if you are on track. And when something doesn't feel good, it's not on track. For what, address that. Reach out, askprofessorg.com, set an appointment with me. I'm glad to help you identify what's going on in the feelings so that you can move forward in your life. And just to ask, well, this doesn't feel good. Okay, well, we're going to pause and explore why this doesn't feel good instead of continuing a behavior just out of should, right? Or this does feel good. This feels right. This feels true. This feels, I feel alive or excited or eager to share this. That's a good indicator that you are on track. So go out there and make some friends and just be living and follow your feelings. Notice what feels right and not what feels right only in this moment, right? Because a good hard bang might feel good in the moment, guys, right? It was like, oh, that was great. Sex is great. It's so fun. But then if you leave that experience and it doesn't feel good, was it a good experience, right? So if you think back on the experience and it wasn't good, so sometimes what feels good in the moment can be a little confusing. I get that. But really focus longer term. How does it feel? Even after I experience this, how am I feeling about that experience that I had? And notice those feelings. Those are your biggest indicators. So go make some friends and get after that purpose. Pay attention to how you feel and have fun. Have fun, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for Ask Professor G Live today. I have no idea. I think it's October 7th or something. So welcome to October and let's get after it. I'll see you next week for another Ask Professor G Live. Send your questions in, askprofessor.com. Thanks, guys.